Imagine reaching a point in your life, looking back over the decades, and feeling a pang of regret, a quiet whisper of, if only. It's a painful reality many people face as they grow older, that feeling of having missed opportunities, made wrong turns, or simply not lived fully. But what if you could glimpse those potential regrets now? What if you could see the most common things people wish they had done differently, and use that knowledge to shape your life today? It's not about dwelling on the past. It's about empowering your present and future. There are certain themes that come up again and again when people reflect on their lives in later years. They aren't usually grand, dramatic failures, but often subtle, everyday choices that added up over time. These are the things that, when viewed from the perspective of a long life lived, create a sense of sadness or loss. They are the should-haves and could-haves that linger. Understanding these common regrets isn't meant to make you feel bad. Quite the opposite. It's meant to shine a light on the path ahead, showing you where you might want to focus your energy and attention. Now, to avoid those feelings down the road, it's about living intentionally, making choices that you'll be proud of. Not just when you look back next year, but in 20 or 30 years' time. In this video, we're going to explore the top 7 regrets that seniors often express in old age. These are the heartfelt reflections of people who have walked the path ahead of you, and their wisdom is a gift. We'll dive into what those regrets are, why they happen, and most importantly, what simple shifts or ways of thinking you can adopt starting today to prevent them from becoming your regrets. These aren't complicated changes. They're often just about perspective and prioritizing what truly matters. Watch right to the very end, because there's something about the final regret that might surprise you and change the way you look at your daily life. So, let's begin with perhaps the most classic and frequently mentioned regret. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. This one resonates deeply with many people. We spend so much of our adult lives focused on careers, building something, providing for our families, striving for success or security. There's absolutely nothing wrong with hard work and dedication. It's essential for building a life. But the regret comes when people realize that in their single-minded focus on work, they let other precious parts of life slip through their fingers. They recall long hours at the office, missed family dinners, skipped holidays, moments with children or grandchildren that can never be reclaimed. They remember the stress, the pressure, the constant feeling of needing to do more, achieve more. When they look back, the promotions might seem less important, the long nights less necessary, the extra hours less valuable than the memories they didn't create. The painful reality is that time is the one resource we can never get back. While work provides financial stability and a sense of purpose, it shouldn't consume everything. People regret not setting stronger boundaries between their professional and personal lives. They regret not taking more holidays, not truly disconnecting when they were away from work. They regret letting emails and deadlines invade moments that should have been purely about connection and joy. Avoiding this regret isn't about quitting your job or becoming lazy. It's about conscious choices. Today, it's about asking yourself what is truly important. Can I leave work on time today? Can I say no to that extra project that will consume my weekend? Can I fully be present when I'm with my family? Or am I still mentally at the office? It's about recognizing that your value isn't solely tied to your productivity or your income. It's tied to your relationships, your experiences, your well-being, your presence in the lives of those you love. Make time non-negotiable. Block out time in your calendar for family, for friends, for yourself, just as you would for an important meeting. Protect that time fiercely when you're with loved ones. Put away the phone, silence the notifications, and just be there. Listen, laugh, create a memory. These seemingly small acts are the building blocks of a life you won't regret looking back on. Now, Closely related to the regret of working too hard is the regret of not staying connected with friends and family. As life gets busy, relationships can sometimes feel like something we'll get around to later. Work commitments, raising children, managing a household, they all demand time and energy. And while family is often a priority, friendships can sometimes fall by the wayside. People drift apart. Life stages change, and before you know it, years have passed, and those connections have weakened or even been lost entirely. The regret here is the realization, in later life, that the bonds of friendship and close family ties are incredibly valuable, sometimes more so than career achievements or material possessions. People miss the shared history, the easy camaraderie, the support system that strong relationships provide. They regret not making the effort to call, to visit, to send that card, to grab that coffee. Life happens, yes, and sometimes distance is a factor. But the deepest regret comes from not prioritizing those connections when they were still easily nurtured. It's the quiet sadness of looking back and wishing they had put in the effort to keep certain people in their lives. The painful reality is that rebuilding these connections after many years can be difficult, or sometimes impossible, due to circumstances or simply the passage of time. To avoid this regret, the action is simple, though it requires conscious effort. Make connecting with loved ones a priority. Now, don't wait for a special occasion. Don't wait for the other person to reach out. Pick up the phone just to say hello. Send a text message sharing a funny memory. Suggest a regular coffee date or video call. Make a plan to visit. These gestures don't have to be grand. Consistency is key. Nurture your relationships like you would a garden. They need regular tending to flourish. Think about the people who have been important in your life and make a conscious effort to reach out to one person this week. It might feel awkward at first if it's been a while, but the potential reward, a rekindled connection, and a life richer in meaningful relationships is immeasurable. Don't let the busyness of life steal the opportunity to cherish and maintain the bonds that truly matter. Prioritize people over tasks, connection over convenience. Your future self will thank you for the vibrant network of love and support you cultivated. Moving on from relationships and work. Another profound regret that surfaces for many is wishing they'd had the courage to express their feelings and stand up for themselves. Throughout life, there are countless situations where we might hold back our true thoughts, opinions, or feelings out of fear. Fear of conflict, fear of rejection, fear of not being liked, fear of making waves. We might bite our tongue when we should have spoken up, agree with something we disagree with, or let others make decisions for us when we had a different preference. This can happen in personal relationships, at work, or even in everyday interactions. The painful reality of this regret is the slow accumulation of unspoken words and suppressed emotions. People look back and see moments where they compromise their own values or desires just to keep the peace or fit in. They regret not setting boundaries with others, allowing themselves to be taken advantage of, or not asking for what they truly wanted or needed. This can lead to a feeling of having not lived an authentic life, of having been a passive participant rather than an active agent in their own story. The energy it takes to suppress feelings can be immense, and in later life, people wish they had channeled that energy into courageous expression instead. Preventing this regret is about building your courage muscle, one small step at a time. It starts with recognizing your own voice and validating your own feelings. Your perspective matters. Your needs matter. Practice expressing yourself in low-stakes situations first. State your preference for where to eat. Politely decline an invitation you don't want to accept. Then, gradually move towards more challenging conversations. It's not about being aggressive or confrontational, but about being assertive and honest. Learn to use I statements, I feel this way when, or I need this. It's about communicating respectfully but clearly. Standing up for yourself isn't selfish, it's self-respect. It teaches others how to treat you and allows you to live more authentically. in alignment with who you truly are. Don't carry the weight of unspoken words. Find healthy ways to express yourself and honor your own feelings. Another deeply felt regret is wishing they had pursued their dreams or tried something different. How many times have you heard someone say, "I always wanted to learn to paint," or "I wish I'd taken that trip," or "I often thought about starting my own little business"? Life has a way of presenting us with paths that seem sensible, secure, or expected. We follow the crowd, take the job that pays the bills, and sometimes, the dreams we held as a younger person get quietly set aside, collecting dust like old photographs. The painful reality is the what if. People regret not taking risks, not stepping outside their comfort zones, not exploring their passions when they had the chance. They might have had creative talents they never nurtured, a calling they never answered, or an adventurous spirit they never indulged. The regret isn't necessarily about becoming famous or successful in that pursuit, but about the missed experience itself, the untapped potential, the road not taken. They wish they had been bolder, more curious, more willing to try and potentially fail, rather than never trying at all. That nagging feeling of what if can be heavier than the disappointment of trying and not succeeding. To avoid this regret, you have to give yourself permission to dream again, and more importantly, permission to act on those dreams. No matter your age, it's never too late to learn something new, to pick up an old hobby, to take that trip you've always dreamed of, or to start that small project that excites you. Identify one thing you've always wanted to do but haven't. Break it down into small, manageable steps. Want to learn painting? Sign up for a local class or watch tutorials online. Want to travel? Start researching a destination and saving a little bit each month. Want to write? Dedicate 15 minutes a day to putting words on paper. These steps don't have to lead to a complete life overhaul. They just need to be steps in the direction of your buried desires. Allow yourself the joy of exploration and the satisfaction of pursuing something purely because it calls to you. Don't let your dreams remain dusty relics. Bring them back to life, one courageous step at a time. And speaking of things we put off, a regret that has significant implications for quality of life in later years is wishing they had taken better care of their body. This is a very practical regret, but it's woven into the fabric of daily well-being. Throughout our younger and middle years, we often take our health for granted. We might eat whatever we want, skip exercise, put off doctor's appointments, or engage in habits we know aren't good for us, thinking, "I'll deal with it later." The painful reality of this regret becomes clear when health issues arise that could have been prevented or mitigated by earlier attention. People regret not eating more healthily, not exercising regularly, not quitting smoking sooner, not managing stress, or not getting regular checkups. They see the impact of past choices on their current mobility, energy levels, and overall health. They wish they had invested in their health when it felt less urgent. Understanding now that it is the foundation upon which everything else is built. The limitation on activities they enjoy, the dependence on medication, the feeling of discomfort. These are daily reminders of neglecting their physical well-being. The encouraging news is that it is absolutely never too late to start taking better care of yourself. While you can't undo the past, you can make incredibly positive changes today that will impact your health and well-being going forward. Start small. Could you go for a 15-minute walk today? Could you swap out one unhealthy snack for a piece of fruit? Could you make a conscious effort to drink more water? Could you finally schedule that doctor's appointment you've been postponing? Focus on sustainable, enjoyable habits rather than drastic changes. Find physical activities you genuinely like, whether it's dancing, gardening, swimming, or walking with a friend. Experiment with healthy recipes that taste good. Prioritize sleep and find ways to manage stress. Every healthy choice you make now is an investment in your future self, reducing the likelihood of this profound regret and allowing you to live your later years with more vitality and independence. Now, we've talked about work, relationships, expressing yourself, pursuing dreams, and health, all important areas. But two regrets often capture the overall mindset. People wish they had cultivated differently. The sixth regret is wishing they hadn't worried so much. Oh, the energy we spend worrying. We worry about things that are out of our control, things that might never happen, things that happened in the past, things that are happening now. We worry about money, about our children, about our health, about what others think, about the state of the world. Worry can become a constant companion, a low hum of anxiety in the background of our lives. The painful reality is that most of the things we worry about intensely either never happen, or, if they do, we somehow find the strength and resources to deal with them. The worry itself often doesn't change the outcome, but it does steal our peace, our joy, and our presence in the moment. People in later life look back and see how much valuable time and mental energy they wasted on needless anxiety. They regret not trusting themselves more, not trusting life's process, not recognizing their own resilience. They wish they had spent less time spinning in circles of what if, and more time living the life that was actually unfolding before them. The weight of accumulated worry is a heavy burden that, in hindsight, feels largely self-imposed. To avoid this regret, you need to practice conscious awareness and develop strategies to manage worry. When you notice yourself worrying, ask yourself, is this productive worry leading to action or unproductive worry just spinning? If it's unproductive, try to gently redirect your thoughts. Practice mindfulness, focusing on the present moment without judgment. Engage in activities that ground you, like deep breathing, meditation, spending time in nature, or pursuing a calming hobby. Challenge your worried thoughts. What is the evidence for this worry? What is the likelihood it will happen? What is a more helpful way to look at this? Learn to distinguish between a genuine concern that requires action and a baseless fear that only steals your peace. Trust in your ability to handle whatever comes your way, because chances are you've overcome challenges before. Free yourself from the grip of excessive worry, and you'll free up immense energy for joy, connection, and living fully. And this leads us beautifully to the seventh and final regret. The one that perhaps encapsulates many of the others. I wish I had let myself be happier. This might sound surprising. Don't we all want to be happy? Of course. But often, we put conditions on our happiness. We tell ourselves, I'll be happy when I achieve X. Or, I'll be happy when I have Y. Or, I can't be happy because of Z. We wait for external circumstances to align perfectly before we allow ourselves to feel joy. We might feel guilty about being happy when others are suffering, or feel that we don't deserve happiness, or simply get so caught up in the daily grind and our worries that we forget to actively choose happiness and notice the good things in our lives. The painful reality is that happiness is often less about our circumstances and more about our perspective and our choices. People regret not appreciating the small moments of joy, not savoring the simple pleasures, not allowing themselves to play, to be silly, to experience wonder. They regret focusing too much on what was wrong or what was missing, instead of being grateful for what they had. They wish they had allowed themselves more moments of pure, unadulterated happiness, not contingent on achieving a goal or having everything perfect. They realize, looking back, that happiness was available to them all along, but they didn't give themselves permission to fully embrace it. They let fear, worry, expectations, or just plain busyness get in the way of simply being happy. To avoid this regret, you need to practice gratitude and cultivate joy deliberately. What are you grateful for today? Even on a difficult day, there is usually something. Start noticing the small things, the warmth of the sun, a good cup of tea, a kind word, the beauty of nature. These small moments are the threads of happiness woven through life. Actively seek out things that bring you joy, whether it's listening to music, spending time with pets, pursuing a hobby, or connecting with people who make you laugh. Give yourself permission to play, to rest, to simply be without needing to be productive. Let go of the idea that happiness is a destination you arrive at. It's a way of traveling. Choose to see the good. Choose to appreciate what you have. And choose to allow yourself to feel happy, not as a reward, but as a fundamental part of living. So, we've looked at the top 7 regrets wishing they hadn't worked so hard. Not staying connected with loved ones, not having the courage to express feelings, not pursuing dreams, neglecting health, worrying too much, and not letting themselves be happier. It might feel like a lot to consider. But remember the encouraging message you are hearing this now. This isn't about dwelling on what's past, but about gaining powerful insight for what's ahead. The common thread running through these regrets is presence and conscious choice. It's about being present in your life today, noticing where your energy and time are going, and making conscious decisions about what truly matters to you. It's about shifting your focus from external expectations to internal fulfillment, from fear to courage, from worry to peace, from busyness to connection, from taking health for granted to cherishing your well-being. Small changes can make a big, lasting difference to your happiness and fulfillment, not just down the road, but starting right now. You don't need to overhaul your entire life tomorrow. Just pick one regret that resonated most strongly with you and think about one small action you could take today or this week to address it. Could you send that text message? Could you take a 15-minute walk? Could you try that small, brave conversation? Could you simply take a moment to notice something beautiful and feel grateful? Your life is happening now. Every day is an opportunity to make choices that will lead to a life you look back on with satisfaction, not sadness. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the perfect time. And don't let fear hold you back. Live intentionally, love deeply, and be brave enough to pursue what lights you up. What resonated most with you from these regrets? Have you already started addressing any of them in your own life? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your insights can help others. If you found this video helpful or thought-provoking, please give it a like. It helps us know what kind of content you appreciate, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel for more videos designed to help you live your best life at every age. We cover everything from health and wellness to mindset and finding joy. Thank you for spending this time with me. Remember, the greatest power you have is in the present moment. Use the wisdom of those who've gone before you to shape a future you'll look back on with pride and joy. Live your best life, fully and courageously, starting today.